Hey guys, I'm glad you're here. I'm excited for you. You made a big leap. You made a big step forward. You purchased the appointment setting script bundle that our virtual virtuoso call center uses on a daily basis. I'd like to talk to you about the three major types of leads, first of all, because I think that's where this conversation has to start. Are the three major types of lead sources that you have in the world of solar. We can get a little bit more granular than this, but quite honestly, I think it's best to kind of keep things simple, and we try to keep things simple as well when it comes to our call center. So the three main types of leads that you really need to consider, starting at the bottom and working our way up to the top. Number one is cold data. So cold calling homeowner records, right? Just truly cold calling homeowners who have expressed zero interest in solar. And then we're trying to use the magic of urgency and exposing pain points to try to create demand there. This is not my favorite thing. I'm not a fan of this at all. I actually don't recommend new people, solo individual reps to be calling cold homeowner records. I know that the price is alluring because because acquiring cold data lists is very, very cheap, but you get what you pay for, guys. Like there's a reason why it's cheap. It's hard. The moral of the story is you're going to spend the better part of your day just dialing away all day at the hopes that maybe you're going to get one, maybe two appointments. That would be pretty outstanding if you got a couple appointments out of it. And so that's problem number one, is that you spend all day cold calling and the results are so bad, you're just going to burn out really quickly. You're going to develop this hatred for cold calling, which most people do, as you can imagine, right? And you're no exception. So I warn people, please don't start with cold data. Cold data is really best for call centers. Call centers can get away with calling cold data because they're paid to do that. Pay someone else to do that dirty work, okay? Number two on the ladder would be aged solar leads. Big fan of aged solar leads. Okay. If you need aged solar leads, you can talk to us. There's other sources out there that are reputable. Please do be cautious because most sources are not reputable at all. Overseas stuff like that, be extremely, extremely cautious. Often their prices will be too good to be true. So just, be cautious of that. The thing you got to be cautious about with sources that you're not totally sure of, typically what happens is either they're just going to straight up scam you and just take your money and run, or number two, they're selling you data that's already been resold a bunch of times. They're just reselling the same data over and over and over again. So you're going to be calling these lists and just get nothing out of it. Be cautious. We can help you with that if you want to just do the age solar thing. Reach out to us and we can certainly help you with that. Age data is fantastic. This is really the best bang for the buck. I can talk to you in great detail about what type of age data to get. I usually have a good 15 to 30-minute chat with my clients if that's the route that they want to go. If they want to go the age data route, I have a nice long talk with them and we discuss all the finer points of age data because there's quite a few things that it's very important to know. Otherwise, you'll waste your money there too. So please do reach out to me if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, next, the top of that ladder, the highest step would be fresh exclusive leads. And when you think, fresh exclusive leads, think like our virtual virtuoso program, prospect bacon, solar exclusive, secondary guys like that. So that's kind of what we do, is we focus a lot on those fresh exclusive leads. This is definitely the best because you're striking while the iron is the hottest. All right, guys. So I think enough talking. Let me share my screen and we'll get right into the script. All right, guys. So here we are. This is the script that you'll be looking at as well. It's broken down, like I said, the first one is a hot lead greeting, fresh exclusive lead. Okay. Then aged lead greeting. Then cold lead greeting, which extends down here. It's the longest one. And then, so that's the greeting part. So that just depends on who you're talking to. That's the greeting. And then it always continues with booking the appointment. So this part is the same no matter what type of lead you're talking to, whether it's cold, aged, or fresh. I'm going to do three different read throughs. The first read through I'm going to do is I'm just going to read through it. Okay, I'm just going to read through it without any commentary. Then the second time I'm going to read through it again, but this time going into detail with commentary and doing a real deep dive. And then I'm going to go back and read it one more time. This way you can kind of really ingest it now that you'll know more about it on that third go around. Okay, and I'm going to read through them one by one by one. Okay, so I want this to be very thorough. I want you guys to feel like you got your money's worth on this with this purchase. Like I said, we normally do share, we normally do sell this bundle for well over $500. You got a great value here today. And like I said, this is the exact same script that our Virtuoso call center uses to feed the entire Virtuoso team. And this is what feeds their appointments. So now keep in mind, the people who are on the Virtuoso team, they're not doing any of this because we take all this dirty work off of their plate. Like we do all their, or rather our call center does all the dirty work for them. So they just wake up every morning, and they just check their phone and they look to see what appointments they already have scheduled for their day. So that's, one of the many huge advantages that you get when you're on the Virtuoso program, is that our call center is taking care of all this dirty work for you. So there is no cold calling. There's none of this. You're not doing any of the appointment setting calls at all. We take care of the appointment setting calls. All you do is show up to knock them out with the sales pitch. Okay, so if you're interested, there'll be a link here. If you just scroll down further, there's information about how to get how to book a demo for the Virtuoso program, which I promise you're going to love. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to do a full read through of the hot lead greeting, and I'm going to go all the way down through booking the appointment and everything in between. Okay. And then I'll just do the age lead greeting and the cold lead greeting just as the intro. I'm not going to do the book the appointment because that's the same. Okay, here we go. Hi, this is Peter with SolarWise. I'm just calling you back. It looks like you wanted some info on adding solar to your house. Have you already found out if your roof qualifies for solar? Okay. Now, John, what are you paying on average per month for electricity? 150. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Is that how much you pay every 2 months, or is that every month? Oh, that's every month. Wow, that's a lot higher than other families in your area. Do you know why your bill is so high? Do you guys have like a swimming pool or something? Okay. All right. Interesting. Now we're going to continue right to book the appointment. Okay. The opening is done. Go to the book. So, John, we can check a few basic eligibility requirements real fast. First of all, are you the owner of the home there? Okay, great. Is it a single family home? Wonderful. Now, John, because this is a government-sponsored program, there's a minimum credit score of 650 to be eligible. Do you know if yours is above 650? Gotcha. Okay, wonderful. Now, John, have you had any bankruptcies in the past 5 years? Okay, wonderful. Glad to hear. Okay, now what I would suggest doing is at this point, just continue with your discovery script. Let me take you there real fast. Okay, here we are. The discovery script, also known as the problem awareness script, same thing. And what you want to do is see where it says appointment starts here. You want to scroll down just a little bit. It says right here, if this is the appointment setting call, i.e. you're setting your own appointment, then you can jump down to here. You can just skip that, right? Because all this is a little bit of a greeting and you just did a greeting. So we don't need to double down on that. So now you're just going to come in here and be like, so John, look, the first part of this call is pretty basic. It's really more for us to find out what your specific situation is and to see if we can even help. And then at that point, we can discuss next steps if that's something that you're interested in. Does that sound like a good plan? Okay, so we just continue right into the discovery script and just keep going. And now we've got our own appointment, and now we're going straight into the whole thing. Okay, so do you see the power of this? Okay, now let's go back. Okay, now if they're not available right now, they're in a hurry. You caught me at a bad time, Peter. I can't talk right now. Do this another time. I'm free later, whatever, right? They're rushing you. So then we just go into booking the appointment for later. So, John, how's tomorrow morning or afternoon for a quick chat to check on eligibility? Great. What time works best for you? Oh, okay, shoot, John. So 4 p.m. is going to be tough as we're completely filled up around that time. I can squeeze you in 15 minutes later at 4:15. Does that work? Okay. Now, John, if your schedule changes, please just reach out to reschedule. Sound fair? Great. Now, John, I've got your email here is john@john.com. Is that right? Okay. Now, John, are we talking on your landline? Is this your cell? Oh, it's your landline. Okay. John, can I get your cell number so we can send you a text confirming this appointment? Great. Okay, cool. Now, John, in order to properly size your system, the engineers will need to see a recent utility bill to get you accurate numbers and confirm your eligibility. Do you get your utility bill in the mail or do you pay it online? Great. Hey, John, can you grab one and can you tell me if you see a graph on it that shows how much electricity you use month by month? Wonderful. John, can you text me a pic so I can send it to my engineers so they can calculate savings for you? Great. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. Now, John, please keep in mind that our team is going to be spending several hours putting together your solar savings report and the system design. So, like I mentioned earlier, if you can't make the call, please just be respectful of everyone's time and just let me know if you need to reschedule. Sound fair? Okay. So, John, any other questions at all before I let you go? No? Okay, sounds good. Well, then, John, you have yourself a great day, and hopefully we can get you qualified tomorrow at 4:15. Okay, thanks, John. All right, so that's the hot lead. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with aged. I'm just going to read the opener because you already know what the booking the appointment, that doesn't change. Hey, John, I'm Peter. I'm calling about your electricity bill. Are you still at 1234 Main Street? Again, this is assuming that you're calling a lead list, right? And with a good lead list, you're going to have addresses. So, John, unfortunately, all the permits for the solar program you were looking at have been filled. Did you already go solar another way, John? You didn't? Okay. Did you think it was just too expensive? Oh, you did? Okay, I gotcha. Well, John, look, the good news is there's a new solar program, costs nothing out of pocket, and we're actually one of the only Colorado sponsored solar programs with access to this program where all the upfront costs are completely covered for you. John, have you already checked if you're eligible for this newest program? You haven't? Okay. And continue with book the appointment, right? So just once again, we're going to scroll down to right here and just keep going. Okay. Same end result. All right. Cold lead greeting. This one's a little longer, as it should be, right? Because here we're taking a person who's expressed no interest in solar and we're trying to create that interest. So this one's going to take longer, but my suggestion is don't do it. Don't do cold leads. Okay. Hey, John, I'm Peter. I'm calling about your electricity bill. Are you still at 1234 Main Street? Okay. Now, John, you've been classified as a high energy consumer by your utility company. Were you aware of this? Okay. Well, that's actually kind of why I'm calling, John. You know, your utility company is raising your prices. Now, you got a couple options open to you. If you'd prefer, you're welcome to stay on your current program and take those ongoing price increases. Or the other option, which most people are doing now, is they're switching to this new flat rate program that costs nothing to switch. Have you checked if you're eligible for this new option yet, John? Okay. So, John, these price hikes can be as high as 50%. Would that be a problem for you? It would? Okay. So, John, our mission is to help local communities avoid these massive price hikes by connecting homeowners with vetted local solar programs. And this is very different than those other solar programs you might have heard of in the past. So, if you're able to qualify, there would be absolutely no money down to make the switch, and the government will even give you five to $15,000 back. Would that be helpful, John? Okay, great. Okay, I just realized this paragraph is superfluous. You can ignore that. That should have been deleted. Okay, would that, and then we just leave, would that be helpful, John? And then continue with book the appointment. Okay. Now you'll see here, not interested. This is going to be a very common thing that you're going to get. So the most common thing, right? And it usually happens right away at the beginning of the call. So you need to be cognizant of that. The standard response that we use, and this is based on purely on NEPQ, which, as you probably have already noticed, is pretty prevalent throughout this entire script, is we always agree. We always show them we're not even sure if we can help them yet. And we do a follow-up question. So if they say, no, I'm not interested, just, not interested, see later. Yeah, that's not a problem, John. Look, and I'm not even sure I can help you. Let me just ask you, how much are your typical summer bills, though? Let's go into more detail about each section. So now I want to kind of go through and pick it apart. Let's actually start with the cold leading and work our way up. Okay. Now with the cold greeting, right, we have to create pain. Otherwise, people don't buy solutions to problems if they don't know that they have a problem to begin with. So we have to make them become aware that they have a problem. Okay. Now, of course, you already know that you should have their address because you're buying lead lists. Okay. So calling about your electricity bill. This is a very good opener that gets it creates intrigue and curiosity. Like, whoa, who are you? Why are you calling about my electricity bill? It's not necessarily the friendliest opener, but it's not supposed to be. It's just supposed to create intrigue. So it works very well for that. Now, this one is you've been classified as a high energy consumer. Were you aware of this? So let's talk about this. So this is now creating pain, right? We're letting them know that, you've been marked as, as a problem child, right? So you got problems coming your way. Now let's talk about why this word is in here, right? And you heard me kind of stutter and use some weird pauses. Well, this is NEPQ tonality at play here. So here what we're doing is we're trying to come off sounding very concerned. And when we're concerned, we don't want to sound like we're reading off of a script, because when you read off a script, you sound too perfect, and that's a problem because then people know that you're reading off of a script. So you want it to sound natural, and when people sound natural, when people are just kind of speaking from the hip naturally, they stutter and insert weird ums and pauses and things like that. So that's why we read this by saying, "Hey, now you've been in a concerned tone, right? Now, John, you've been classified as a high energy consumer by your utility company. Were you were you aware of this? Right? Do you hear me? Like I'm leaning in. I'm getting very concerned for them here. A lot of pauses, a lot of stutters, and just kind of weird tonality, right? But that tells them that I'm very serious, and that tells them that they should take this question very seriously. Okay. So now it's moving on here. So, well, that's actually kind of why I'm calling, John. Your utility company's raising prices. You got a couple options. If you'd prefer, you can stay in your current program, but why the hell would you, right? That's silly. Now, notice we're not talking about solar. We're talking about this thing called a flat rate program. We do that because when you're calling cold data, we've absolutely learned that mentioning solar too soon is just going to get you hung up on. Okay, people know you're then just trying to sell them solar. So we need to come at this in what's using called the backdoor method, where we talk about something else for a little while and then we kind of ease into solar. Okay, now we're creating more pain. So, John, these price hikes can be as high as 50%. Again, notice the NEPQ. Would that be a problem for you? Okay, said very with real concern and tonality. So, John, our mission is to help local communities avoid these massive price hikes by connecting homeowners with vetted solar programs. Now, that makes it sound like I'm not here to promote my own company. I'm actually here to just connect you with a good one, right? So this now takes a lot of that pressure off and makes it not sound salesy anymore. And now we're reminding them, of course, this is very different than other solar programs you may have heard of. Okay, this is new and different, so you should listen. And then, of course, emphasis on the word if. So if you're able to qualify, takeaway, if you're able to qualify, there'll be absolutely no money down to make the switch, and the government will even give you the certain amount of money back. Would that be helpful? Okay, NEPQ. Sorry, I know we skipped this last one because this is a duplicate that needed to be deleted. I will have that deleted. Okay, now you know they're not interested. Now let's get into book the appointment. Pretty standard stuff here. Are you the homeowner? If he's not, can you please put the homeowner on? Is it a single family home? If it is not, no, he says it's a townhome. They got to own the roof. So ask, do you own the roof? If they do not, DQ, right? Probably not worth moving forward. Credit. If they say they have bad credit, no problem. Do you have anyone that can be a cosigner? No, I don't. Okay. Would you be open to having us help you with credit repair? Right now, if you're on our virtual virtuoso program, then you have access to our in-house team of credit repair guys, and they do phenomenal work, by the way. Very quick work. Generally, we're able to get people qualified 45 to 60 days for solar, and then they have to come right back to you. So I actually like credit fails because they're guaranteed to buy solar from you. Okay. Now, of course, here we just continue with the script. So that the main discovery script. But if they're in a rush, trying to get you off the phone, they're not available now, then we need to book the appointment. Okay. How's tomorrow morning or afternoon for a quick chat to check on eligibility, right? We're the ones proposing 2 time options, but they're tomorrow. They're quick, right? Great. What time works best for you? Now, notice, remember over here, oh, shoot, we're filled up at that time, but I have one that's 15 minutes later. What does that do? That tells them that we're the authority, right? We're the trusted authority, and that we're very, very busy, right? Like doctors, we're very busy. I don't have that time. Sorry, but I got one 15 minutes later. Will that work for you? Now, very important here is to prevent no-shows. If your schedule changes, please reach out to reschedule. Sound fair? Great. Now, guys, when it comes to the subject of no-shows, this is very touchy subject. This is probably the most difficult challenge that our call center faces or has faced in the past, that we've had to work and invest so heavily into overcoming, because there's nothing more annoying than working so hard to book an appointment only to have them not show up. but this is an extraordinarily real reality of booking appointments, is that a massively large percentage of them will not show up. So our call center knows all the tips and tricks on how to minimize no-shows. That's what we do, right? We run a large call center. These are the sort of things that these are the sort of kinks that we've already ironed out over the years, that are very hard to do as an individual. So I wish you the best of luck when it comes to minimizing no-shows. That is a very, very difficult task to overcome. That's why I just say, like, if you're on our Virtuoso program, you don't have to worry about this kind of stuff, because we handle all the appointment setting for you. We handle the no-shows. We handle minimizing no-shows in the first place. And even if they do no-show, we rebook those no-shows for you. We have all the automations, we have all the call center, and we have all the scripting for it. So, okay, moving along. We ask about their email. If they don't have an email, we ask to get it. Can I get your email, please? It'll just be for a reminder of this chat, and we'll never share your information with any third parties, as people get weird about it. This is very important. Are we talking on your landline or your cell? For us, at least, this is critical, because we always ask if we can get their cell number instead, because so much of what we do is based on the automations that we send out through our AI-driven automated marketing / CRM platform. So for us, we absolutely must have a cell number in order to send those text messages through, which help dramatically decrease no-shows. So if we only have a landline, that really cuts us off right there, and we're not able to, to kind of use all those little tricks that we've got up our sleeve to minimize no-shows. So getting the cell number for us is absolutely critical. If you're an individual, if you're just an individual and you don't have these sorts of automations, that's going to be tough, because you really need those automations to keep them interested. And you have to continually send them information and nurture them up until the moment of the appointment. Because if you just don't nurture them at all, and you just hope that they're going to appear a day or two later with just total radio silence in between, I'm telling you right now, you're going to get ridiculously high no-show rates, like probably up in the 70-80% range. Really high. 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 will no-show on you. That's how bad it can be. And that is incredibly demoralizing and disheartening, as you can imagine, when you worked so hard and spent all day booking these appointments, to just have them no-show. Sucks. So these are the things that we minimize. Okay, utility bill. Now you got all this. We always ask, can you grab one and tell me if you see a graph on it that shows how much electricity you use month by month? And this is helpful, because we're not saying, hey, can you grab it and send it to me? Because they'll be like, no, I don't even know you. I'm not going to send it to you. But if you say, hey, can you grab it, and can you tell me if you see something other that's important? And they say, yep, I got it. Now they're already holding it, right? So the hardest part of the job is already done. They're already holding it. And now you're just saying, once they've already confirmed that they've got that graph on it, now you can say, hey, text it to me so I can send it to my engineers so they can calculate savings, right? It's not for my benefit. It's for the engineers, right? People trust engineers. They don't trust salespeople. Okay, let's get into this. If they say no, or they're just scared to send it, just agree. Just be like, hey, I completely understand, John. Look, if you have privacy concerns, just grab a magic marker and just black out anything that you're worried about. The engineers are only interested in the numbers anyway, not your personal data. Can you please grab it? Okay, great. Now, if they just say it's not nearby, no worries, John. I got plenty more stuff I got to punch in on my end. So just take your time, grab it for me. I'll just be working here. Okay. And if they say absolutely no, no big deal, right? No problem. We can still move forward without it for now, right? We are actually not that big of a sticklers on getting the utility bill up front. It's just a bonus. It's just nice. It just sort of, imparts greater confidence on our sales reps' ends, because now they know that they've got a very, very high intention prospect. But if they don't send over the utility bill, it's fine. We always get it anyway during discovery. No big deal. Okay, now end. Once again, we're going to try to minimize no-shows by letting them know that, we're spending several hours putting together your solar savings report. So like I mentioned earlier, if you can't make the call, please be respectful and let us know if you need to reschedule. Now, this part's very important, super slow and methodical here. So John, any other questions for me at all before I let you go? You need to say it like that, right? That's why these are in all caps. So focus on that. So John, any other questions for me at all before I let you go? Why is this so important? even though you'd be like, well, I already got the appointment. I already got their utility bill. Why do I need to do this? I'll tell you why. Because this is one of the biggest reasons why prospects no show, is because they had what I like to call dumb objections in mind that you weren't patient enough to get out of them. Let me give you an example of a dumb objection. Wait, am I going to have to pay two bills now when I go solar? Am I going to have to pay my utility bill and my solar bill? No, you won't. Right? That's one of the most common dumb objections, right? Which would have been so easy for you to fix and knock out of the park right away if you just had the patience and took a moment to ask. Okay. So this is the time where you do want to make yourself available here for any basic questions. If they start getting too deep, tell me about the tax credit. Tell me about, what types of incentives there are for XYZ zip code. If they start getting too deep, just be like, yeah, we'll definitely take a look at that. Once we've got some real numbers to look at, I can certainly help you with that. Right now, I don't really know a whole heck of a lot, but I will know some more information really soon once we send this off to our engineer. So I'll be happy to go over that with you once I've got those numbers on paper. Okay, that's it. Now just a little greeting. And of course, hopefully we can get you qualified tomorrow. Another takeaway, right? I'm not guaranteeing anything. This is very important for messaging, is that we're always doing takeaways, because one of the biggest problems with solar is the notion of it sounding too good to be true. The too good to be true objection is a real problem, right? It's like you've just pitched them something that sounds so amazing that it literally sounds too amazing. And they're like, where are you going to screw me, buddy? Like, you're definitely going to screw me somewhere. Where is it going to be? So that's why we're always the easiest way to minimize and to mitigate the too good to be true objection is to do the takeaway, is to basically say, I know this sounds too good to be true. The problem is I'm not even sure if your home qualifies for solar. Do you see how that immediately just squashes the too good to be true objection? It's like, I know this you can just say it. I know this sounds too good to be true. The problem is I'm not sure if your home even qualifies, or if you qualify, or whatever, right? Roof qualifies, on and on and on. Okay. There's the deep dive. I hope this is helpful, guys. I hope you can see now what the kind of methodologies are behind this. So let's go back through the top one more time. I'm going to do the hot lead greeting one more time. So now that you've got a deeper understanding, I'm going to read through it one more time. This time I'll do the hot lead from beginning to end, and then I'll just do the intro for the aged lead and the intro for the cold lead. All right, so here we go. Hey, this is Peter with SolarWise, just calling you back. Hey, it looks like you wanted some info about on adding solar to your house. Have you already found out if your roof qualifies for solar, John? Okay. Now, John, what are you paying on average per month for electricity? Oh, you're paying $200 a month. Wow, that's a lot. Is that how much you pay every 2 months, or is that every month? Oh, that's every month. Wow, that's a lot higher than other families in your area. Do you know why your bill is so high? Do you have like a swimming pool or something? Okay. All right. Let's continue with booking the appointment. So, John, we can check a few basic eligibility requirements real fast. First of all, are you the owner of the home there? You are? Okay, great. Is it a single family home? Wonderful. Now, John, because this is government sponsored, there's a minimum credit score of 650 to be eligible. Do you know if yours is above 650? Okay, great. And have you had any bankruptcies in the past 5 years? No, wonderful. Okay. So, John, how is tomorrow morning or afternoon for a quick chat to check on eligibility? Okay, great. What time works best for you? Oh, shoot. John, 4 p.m. is going to be tough as we're completely filled up around that time, but I can squeeze you in 15 minutes later at 4:15. Does that work for you? Okay. Now, John, if your schedule changes, please just reach out to reschedule. Sound fair? Okay, great. Now, John, I got your email here is john@john.com. Is that right? Okay, great. Now, John, are we talking on your landline, or is this your cell? Oh, this is your landline? John, can I get your cell number so we can send you a text confirming your appointment? That's pretty important. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I got that. All right. Now, so John, in order to properly size your system, the engineers will need to see a recent utility bill to get you accurate numbers and confirm your eligibility. Do you get your utility bill in the mail, or do you pay it online? Okay, online, wonderful. Can you grab one, and can you tell me if you see a graph on it that shows how much electricity you use month by month? Okay, wonderful. I'm glad you see that there. John, can you text me a pic so I can send it to my engineers so they can calculate savings for you? Great. Okay. Now, John, please keep in mind our team will spend several hours putting together your solar savings report and the system design. So, like I mentioned earlier, if you can't make the call, please just be respectful of everyone's time and let me know if you need to reschedule. Sound fair? Great. So, John, any other questions for me at all before I let you go? No, all good. Okay, cool. Well, then, John, you have yourself a great day, and hopefully, we can get you qualified tomorrow at 4:15. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Okay, let's do the opener now for the age lead. So do you feel that now? Does that make a difference? Do you understand the difference now and hear that in tonality? And let's do this one because now this one has even a little bit more. The next two have even a little bit more of the NEPQ tonality. So let's go back and read those again. Hey, John, I'm calling about your electricity bill. Are you still at 1234 Main Street? Okay. So, John, unfortunately, all the permits for the solar program that you were looking at, they've been filled. Did you already go solar another way, John? You didn't? Okay, gotcha. Did you just think it was too expensive? Oh, okay, I gotcha. Well, John, look, the good news is that there's a new solar program that it costs nothing out of pocket, and we're actually one of the only Colorado-sponsored solar companies with access to this program where all the upfront costs are completely covered for you. John, have you already checked if you're eligible for this newest program? Okay, all right, cool. Now book the appointment. Now let's do cold greeting. Hey, John, I'm calling about your electricity bill. Are you still at 1234 Main Street? Okay. Hey, John, you've been classified as a high energy consumer by your utility company. Were you were you aware of this, John? Okay. Well, that's actually kind of why I'm calling, John. So, your utility company is raising your prices. Now, you got a couple options open to you. If you'd prefer, you're welcome to stay on your current program and take those ongoing price increases. Or the other option, which most people are doing now, is they're switching to this new flat rate program that costs nothing to switch. Have you checked if you're eligible for this new option yet? Okay, you haven't. Okay. So, John, these price hikes can be as high as 50%. Would that be a problem for you? Okay. So, John, our mission is to help local communities avoid these massive price hikes by connecting homeowners with vetted local solar programs. And this is very different than those other solar programs you might have heard of in the past. So, if you're able to qualify, there would be absolutely no money down to make the switch, and the government will even give you five to $15,000 back. Would that be helpful, John? Okay, great. We'll skip this, of course, and book the appointment. Okay. All right, guys. That's it. I hope you found this helpful. Again, if try this, right? Please try this. Take my advice, please. Stay away from cold data. Really, that's for call centers. That's really not for individuals. Avoid cold data. Cold data is really best for call centers. That's what they're paid to do. It's very tedious. It's very painful work. You're gonna burn yourself out pretty quickly doing that kind of stuff. It's so much more productive doing aged or fresh leads. Fresh are expensive. I get that, right? So not everyone can afford that right away, especially if you're still kind of new or need cash flow. I fully understand. Then age data is a great way to go. And by the way, we have a level on our virtual virtuoso program that's extremely affordable, way cheaper than trying to put it together yourself. That focuses exclusively on age data. And I'm a huge fan of age data, as I've already made myself very clear about. So we have a level just completely devoted to that, just to make sure that there's a level that's completely affordable for just about anybody. So, and you'd have full use of our entire call center. They'll be doing all the heavy lifting for you. It's a no brainer. Does it cost money? Yeah, it costs money, but it's well worth it. It's way cheaper than doing it yourself. Let's put it that way. And you get to do the fun part of solar, which is selling deals as opposed to just cold calling all day to appointments that may or may not even show up because that's not your specialty. Whereas that's exactly all that we do, right? Is specialize in that kind of stuff. So look, guys, if you'd like to, book a quick demo for the virtual virtuoso program, I can promise you there's no pressure. It's not one of those things where we're gonna, hold a gun to your head and make you try to sign up on that same day. It's really it's a demo for us to show you what we've got. I know you're gonna like it because it's been one of the most buzzed about programs out there, all over, the social media groups and stuff. So I think you're going to really like it. And like I said, there's no pressure. We're just going to kind of show you what it's made of. We'll show you the different levels that are available, the different price points. There's no contracts. That's the other really cool thing. You can cancel at any time. So you can start at any level and you can move to any other level that you want. But you get the big benefits of, having our full call center handling absolutely everything for you. They're calling your entire pipeline of prospects, which is amazing. It's huge. I mean, this is unbelievable stuff, guys. Can you imagine if you had a full call center of highly trained agents working nothing but not, working 9 hours a day, doing nothing other than just calling your prospects, trying to get them to book appointments for you to pitch and knock out? That's what we do, right? This is kind of like the dream scenario for solar sales. So I'm saying it's well worth your time to sit down and do and to do a quick demo with us. And by the way, if you decide to do that, we'll even refund you your purchase here because you won't need this stuff anymore. You can keep it, you can keep using it, we'll do whatever you want with it. It's totally fine, but we'll refund you because you won't need it anymore. Okay, so you'll get your money back from this. So if you'd like to book a demo, feel free to do that. Otherwise, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you need anything else, feel free to reach out. We're always here to help the community. Thanks, guys.